welcome to the session on cloud gaming. I'm here today with my colleague Simon. Simon, he's called Game Lord here at Google. Right, Simon, glad to have you here. And
Thanks.
here to discuss how cloud gaming is revolutionizing the industry. Very interestingly, when I see India, the online gaming industry has grown super fast. As in, just a few years back, the CAGR of this industry was 22%. And very interestingly, it's been proven now that we're going to have a CAGR of almost 47% in FY22. Just imagine that's double, the CAGR. The other part which is very interesting is the investment that this industry from a gaming sector is attracting. We had in the last 5 or 6 years investments of almost $1 billion just come into gaming industries in India, right? So there's really no better time than now to capitalize on all the increasing number of smartphone users, the penetration of data services, and advancements in delivering really low latency but extremely high performance games to mobile users, which is accelerating the growth of this industry. So it's been, that's kind of the background that I wanted to give all of you. So Simon, you've been working with, gaming customers globally. What are you seeing as the big trends that are driving change within the gaming industry?
We've seen, sort of the downside in the games industry with COVID is there have been a fair amount of titles that have been delayed. How do you keep game developers? When I say developers here, I mean, front-end designers, game engine engineers, things like that. How do you keep them productive when they can't go in to the office where they have access to these larger machines? And that's something we're really looking at. We put it under virtual desktop or streaming desktop or core technology, stream from the cloud. How can we do that? That's going to be something I think, even when we return to normal, which we're all hopeful is going to be very soon, I don't think people are going to give this up. Everybody wants a franchise. No matter who you are, you want to develop something that people are going to come back to, make it so cool that people want to do it again and again. I would challenge people to think about, don't just have a chat as part of your game. What else can you do to make the whole game experience really social? If you really want to build a game that's going to become a social platform or be a social platform where people play but also interact, you need to really understand your user. You need to combine user acquisition data with real-time game telemetry, with marketing data from us or another ad platform, right? All of that needs to be centralized and understood. Just take a very simple example. So you have this social idea, this social platform idea. What about toxicity, right? What about what we sometimes call bad actors, right? People who are coming in and the challenge in games is sometimes your bad actors also spend a lot of money. So you have to be careful. You don't want to disrupt play, and you certainly don't want to insult anybody. But it's not as simple as just kicking anybody off who offends somebody else. You have to be thoughtful about that.
I was reading some stats globally. Gaming is 70% of entertainment revenue. If I took gaming, music, and movies as 3 categories, gaming is about 70% of the revenues generated, by gaming. Interestingly, that's not the trend in India, right? It's almost the reverse. The films are close to 70%. Right, it's about 22%, and the remaining is music. However, I see the glass, frankly, half full out there, and I see a massive opportunity for games, out there to grow. And that kind of brings me to, kind of pick your brains around, what are some of the tech trends that you're seeing?
There's this concept of the game that learns or the game that changes itself, right? So you and I sit down to play a game. I've been playing the game for 5 years. I have a whole different experience than you, right? And in some cases, this is the nirvana because one of the biggest problems in games is churn. I quit. Sometimes we call that rage quit, right? I'm mad at the game and I quit, right? The key is what are the 3 or 4 things I did before that could have told you I was going to quit, right? And that's what everybody's searching for, because if if you're too into my space and you try to help me too much, you ruin the experience, right? We have one customer, they use our machine learning tools, some of them specific for games. And what they do is they do a post-game summary for you. So you finish level 3 and you close the game. If you sign up for it, you get an email. The email says, hey, you did a great job. We noticed you had problems here and you struggled here. Try this next time and try this. And you might think of that and say, wow, that's pretty cool. But they do that at scale, right? They have hundreds of thousands of gamers playing this. It's all done with machine learning. These emails are completely generated from machine learning. Now, when you talk about tech trends, there's a couple trends coming together. One of them is 5G, right? So 5G for me, there's a bunch of technical details, but really it's getting compute very close to the gamer, right? So right now, if I'm on a game, even a console or a mobile device, I'm going back to a data center somewhere and then back, right? Anything you and I do when our two guys are fighting, it's all back to the data center and back to me. If I can bring that very close to where that gamer is having that experience, now you could take the example I just went through of this email post-game, and you could actually change the game. So the game changes, the game learns. And so now, the binaries of the game, the compiled game is on my mobile device or on my console. But if my machine learning model is just 20 milliseconds away, now I'm within a window of where you can see me having trouble with level 3, and you can actually open a door for me. Or maybe you can even send me a pop-up message that says, try this hallway, right? Whatever you want. Or you could send me a synthetic player. Maybe I have an assistant, right? We're used to these. All the great linear franchises have assistants, your sort of helper, or whatever it is, a robot, right? What if that helper, those are scripted, right? They don't learn from you. What if your helper could actually learn from how you're playing? And I think with the convergence of 5G, game publishers already having tons of data, and these social interactions, people expect more from their game. They expect it to be more human. I think you're going to see more. We're right on the edge of doing this, and I think you're gonna have games that learn.
What I've generally seen, is there is a huge appetite for this, Simon, right? So obviously, how do you provide these great player experiences at scale, right? How do you have open and customizable solutions for this industry? How do you have analytics and AI that drives, gamer outcomes? Because for them, for example, if you look at a live game, right, it needs real-time data and insights. That's how you drive those monthly active and daily active users. That's how you take care of your PLTV, and so on, right? So do you have a smart analytics platform that can really drive in-depth gamer data for you is a question that we always get, right? And we're very proud here at Google, as you know, right, to really be able to drive that analytics and AI, for user outcomes and gamer outcomes in this case, right? The other part that is very, interestingly emerging, is the whole data governance and security part, right? How do you, ensure that? And I think some of it is related to toxicity, as you mentioned, but a lot of it is also, there's a lot of personal data that, because of the age groups that gamers are in, they end up sharing inadvertently. So how do you, kind of protect it? Are there data governance standards around it? That's a big topic here in India. And finally, I think one of the things that I've heard people ask us here at Google, right, is that what can the entirety of Google get you, right? We know Google Cloud is doing some amazing things on the tech front, right? You're providing scalable infrastructure. You're providing us databases that are amazing. You're providing us AI ML solutions that are amazing. They've heard of our Agonis initiative, which I do intend if you could share some light around that, our Open Match initiative, and so on. But they also ask us, how can the ads part of our business, the YouTube part of our business, the search capabilities really come together? You've been working with several customers throughout. So how's Google Cloud kind of helping the gaming customers get started on their journey or whatever part of their journey they are in, right? Any thoughts around that?
In cloud, we build guitars for rock stars. That's what we do. So the rock star's on the stage with the spotlight, and we enjoy that moment. We just built the guitar. That's what we do. They they take it to a whole other level, right? Creativity. And to focus on your point, though, it's a great way to say it. The studios are tech companies with IP. And I think the big difference, our approach is different in the industry. Our cloud approach is different in the industry from a technology standpoint, in that we're not, don't totally quote me on this, but I don't think you'll ever see a black box from us, right? If you look at our offerings, you mentioned OpenMatch, matchmaking, very difficult, very hard to, again, I'm a amateur game designer, so there's games I love who do a great job of matchmaking, and there's games I play where I'm like, what are they doing, right? So how do they solve it? It's a hard problem, right? And so what we did was we didn't say, here's a thing, you just call it and it magically works. What we said was, we'll handle the servers. We have this great network. We'll make it fast. But as far as the rules of matchmaking, that's actually not our business. That's the studios or the publishers, right? And I think OpenMatch is a great example of us providing cloud scale, the big G scale, right? You're on our network, you're in our data centers, and we give you a framework to build a matchmaking offering that scales beyond your wildest dreams. As far as what the rules are, that's completely up to you. But what you don't worry about is, oh, I'm in California, so I'm only going to allow gamers to play other gamers in California because my matchmaking is limited. No, you don't have to do that. You can create any rule you want, and anybody from anywhere can play anybody else, which is really what you want. And so that's an example of providing our backbone and infrastructure and letting you turn the knobs. That's on the tech side. You mentioned One Google, and this is very important, more maybe on the business side. Look, we do a lot of this, right? What we do at the big G touches games all over the place. User acquisition, community with YouTube, obviously play, distribution on mobile, what we do in cloud, even kind of far-reaching projects like what they're doing with DeepMind and Brain and all this other stuff. The one thing I'll say about bringing all of us together, we do better when we get direction from you.
I'll just kind of, wrap up, with some of the thoughts to summarize, some areas that you mentioned, whether you want to increase game development speed, you want to improve player experience, you want to, improve efficiency of user acquisition, you want to have better player retention, better in-game engagement, for example, that you mentioned, and so on and so forth. So the whole role of data being, all pervasive. So therefore help you to build better games, scale your game globally, understand players more deeply with data, and really make this simple, right? Really make this simple for them, right? And I'm going to kind of end with a very interesting thing, that I read, especially during the COVID times, right? It said, we break, we fall, but then we rise. We heal, we overcome because we are gamers. It was a great conversation, Simon, getting perspectives from you, the practitioner, giving my thoughts around the Indian gaming ecosystem, right? It's been fantastic. I hope, there are some questions that hopefully, we can answer offline. But this has been an amazing experience, Simon. Looking forward to having you here in India. Right. Thank you very much.
I will be there. I will make the trip. So thank you so much.